So good afternoon. Afternoon is a very tough part of it, right? Especially post lunch. It is difficult for me, so I can imagine the difficulty sitting there and quite cool. चांगली असून एवढं गार आहे म्हणजे because of the environment. So let's look at what we would really want to do. I do not have a PowerPoint. We are not going to see anything here. That is, so there are a couple of videos. After about 50% done, we'll get into the videos. But to begin with, what I would really like to know is what kind of background are you from? What have you really done in your experience per se? What's your experience per se? And that will decide my first 20 minutes of what I'm going to speak, right? Especially the topic is around power electronics and power electronics for EVs. If you look at that topic, and I'm looking forward to many from the electronics or background in electrical and electronics of some kind. So introduction is one of the most difficult part, to introduce something that to experienced people who probably know a lot of it, right? I think that's the tricky part. Advanced part is always easy. I can come and talk about a lot of complex things and that will be very impressive, right? Complex things are always impressive. You can talk about megawatts of work done. I can talk about a 2 megawatt inverter that we used to install in a locomotive, and I think it becomes like a wow, right? But when you walk out of this place, many of you are not going to do the 2 megawatt, correct? We are going to do some things which are going to be directly useful for us. So what my effort is for the next whatever time we have, I think we have about 2.5 hours, 2 to 4:30 is what my time slot is. My idea is to make something very useful and want to understand how we could really put some of the technology to use. Especially in today's world, one of the dangers that we have as far as design is concerned is that a lot of modular things are available, right? So a lot of modular things are available. If you look at control electronics, everything is available modular. If you look at much of power electronics, a lot of modular components are available, subsystems are available. There are very few who really work now at a component level. And I think that seems to be one area that is always challenging, right? To give an example, working for Siemens a few years ago, what I used to get into was we actually used to construct our own modules using thyristors. We had thyristors, and thyristors, high power, high wattage thyristors for DC drives. And the mechanism was we literally put in thyristor sandwiched between heat sinks. You had to really tighten them with correct torque spanners, and you built a module. If you miss by a few units here and there, and the thyristor used to just silently die off, right? All the blowing up happens only in movies. Electronics just silently, thyristor just silently says, I'm not going to work, right? None of the power electronics, unfortunately, blows up like they show in the movies, right? I'm sure some of you have dealt with power electronics. So we'll do a quick dipstick for me to understand who's from where. How many of you really work on day-to-day basis in power electronics? For me, power electronics is anything that is above 100 amperes. Nobody, right? मस्कर सरांनी सकाळी जे मेगावॉट सांगितले त्याच्यातले, right? That's kind of lot of things that we'll look at. So generally, what kind of background are we from? How many from, say, microcontroller based designs background, microcontrollers for industrial automation, or microcontrollers for desk work, or microcontrollers for something? How many? Can I just get a view? Yeah. Okay, so we've got that. Then how many of you from basic electronics area, for example, work with devices, build circuits, maybe linear integrated circuits. Anyone from that area? Linear integrated circuits, op amps and signal conditioning, transducers, that area. Okay, we have that lot. How about sensors and transducers only from instrumentation or that area, right? Temperature, pressure, humidity, displacement, right? That little bit of that area. Okay. What are you? What are the others from who haven't yet put up your hands? Yes, sir. Battery management. Can you explain a bit more about what do you work in battery management? Battery management is right from chemistry to the high power out of a battery. So, teaching a subject. What does that subject contain? Okay. Okay, okay. That's brilliant. Okay. Others? This is for me to get a basic idea so I don't go into areas where I will put you to sleep. Right? Others from which areas? Battery is one. Telecommunications? Anybody from the telecommunication space? Telecom? What kind of telecom? Yes, sir. Okay, so you're from the antenna wave. What kind of frequencies do you generally deal with? Okay. Yes, sir. Analog. Yes, ma'am. Analog and digital. Can you kind of detail it out a bit? I can probably look at it as a very wide area. Okay. Second year level. Okay. The second year UG. UG. Okay. Anyone else who wishes to? Okay. So now I can tune up a bit in terms of the introduction part of the power electronics area. So whenever we are talking about power electronics, and I purposefully don't have slides. If you want slides, I will send you the slides. No problem at all. But to me, slide is a distraction. And I heard in one of the conferences that power corrupts politicians, is what people say. And apparently it was said that PowerPoint corrupts professors. So I think I was very taken aback. I took it personally and said that let's see if we can do things without a PowerPoint slide. I'm not a PowerPoint slide person. We don't have too much of slides even in our office. We have narratives or we have detailed description. So I'll definitely ship it to you. But what we would want to do to begin with, especially post lunch, if I keep talking for 20 minutes, I'll put you to sleep, right? So what I would like us to do is in groups of 2 or 3, right? Can we just figure out what does power electronics mean to you in today's world? Group of 2 or 3. Question is, what does power electronics mean to you? Right? Other than the 100 ampere which I mentioned. AC, DC, conversion, inversion, all kinds. What does power electronics mean to you? Take maybe 5 minutes and spend time on discussing what does power electronics mean to you. Groups of 2 or 3. Theoretical definition nako hai. Power electronics in today's context. Our air conditioners do have certain power electronics elements. Inverters are everywhere, right? I'm just giving you hints. How do you see power electronics as a piece? 5 minutes. Okay. So don't limit it only to vehicles. Look at everything around. Please don't use your mobile phones to search. must be discussing what the power electronics means to you. And why is it such a separate division or separate faculty when you deal with power electronics? Unless you don't wait for the videos. Definition नको है. What does power electronics mean to you? Define power electronics नाही सांगितलं. नको. Unless someone complains that they are not able to hear me or do my but somebody may not even complain, whereas I able to hear. लंच नंतरचे पहिली 20 मिनिटं खूप खतरनाक असतात. बिग चॅलेंज. मला झोपता येते कारण मला उभं राहायचं. डुलकी येतेच. Yes. Anyone ready? What does power electronics mean to you? Appears like you are in a teacher's class, right? Completely different path. If the introduction is not done properly, then you won't remember it right. That is how I believe.
Inductor, resistive, capacitive loads in three-phase scenario.
Okay, so we are talking about three-phase scenario, larger, typically three-phase used for larger power, right? And we are looking at
Inductive, resistive,
all kinds of loads. Okay.
Power devices
Power devices.
can be
used for high power application.
Okay. Power devices can be used for high power application.
It includes the study of AC to DC converters, control converter inverters, AC to AC converters, cyclo converters, AC to AC converters.
It's a power switch
Drive.
which allows
Complex
drivers, time relay drivers,
Okay.
choppers, switches.
Okay.
Power electronics are proving their power transmission or conversion happen.
Okay, so you are also talking about some amount of transmission values. Yes, sir.
Compact, like a bulky starter and starter.
Okay, so semiconductor within power electronics can help reduce. Okay.
So the application of solid-state drives for internet terminal power.
Okay. One of the things is that Edison and Tesla fought on AC and DC. They fought a lot. I'm sure you must have read or watched their documentary that Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison have fought with each other. Right? Nikola Tesla used to work with Edison. He was an employee in his lab and they separated out. They are fighting. But today we want both of their concepts to work together. Primarily. We either are converting AC to DC or we are converting DC to AC. Right? Because AC, however fantastic it may be, cannot be stored. When you start storing, it has to be stored in a DC form. That is the reality of our lives. Right? We cannot store it in a AC form. AC form is always potential energy that is stored, you need to convert. DC has always been chemical energy that you can convert into electricity. This is a universal truth up till now. I don't know if someone changes this. At least that is what we know. Am I correct? So that is one golden rule that we have when we start converting both. So conversion between each other. So we start looking at these advertisements come in. अभी ये air conditioner inverter के साथ. We have a inverter, then digital inverter, then microprocessor based inverter. Damn thing, it's a refrigerator. What is it to do with an inverter? Why an inverter in a refrigerator? Is one question that I want to answer in the introductory part. But before that, any more, what does power electronics mean to you?
Power electronics is a powerful branch of electronics which deals with model, which enhance the model lifestyle of human.
मला एकदम थ्री इडियट्स होता व्हॉट इज अ मशीन मला काय बोलता येत नाही अमेरिकांनी उत्तर देऊन ठेवलं Yeah, I think the power part becomes very important because it is no longer something that is on your desk, but it's something that is always high power. Originally, if you look at it, from probably 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago, nothing was available on the desk. It was all high power. So, power began in higher end of wattages and power. It then got reduced into electronics. And now both of these streams have to work together to make something happen. पहिल्यांदा high power आला. There was no electronics to begin with. Currently, we fall in love with a lot of electronics and software. Right? High power was how all of it began. Okay?